What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you saw my last video, then you would know that some friends of mine wanted me to go back and kind of review some of my past reviews, meaning that I'm going to be changing some grades that I've made. I'm not going to go through every video that I no longer agree with because this video would probably be forever long, but just a few of them. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump right into reviewing my own reviews. The first one I want to talk about is the very first review I ever did, and that would be for The Bye Bye Man. I still can't even say that title without laughing. This was, like I said, the very first review I ever did, and it came out of a long time of thinking about doing reviews, but never really knowing how. I didn't know how to edit anything. The first review I actually wanted to do was Suicide Squad. Thank God I didn't, because I no longer feel the way that I used to about that movie in any way, shape, or form. But finally I decided, hey, I just saw this movie with my friend Matt, so let's review it. I wanted him to review it with me because he already had a review channel. So I was like, oh, maybe he can help me out. But there was no helping this video. There was no helping this review. It is over 16 minutes of just rambling, unedited, looking like garbage. Like, we're just in his bedroom, my phone propped up on his dresser, his phone propped up next to mine with notes so we knew what to talk about, and completely unedited. There's like no lighting in his room. It's just a complete mess, cringe factory. The whole video just looks terrible. I've thought about deleting the first two reviews I have because they just look so bad. The first two are just completely unedited because I didn't know how to do that. So I just didn't even try. And you can hear in the way that I'm talking that I'm a little drunk because I was so nervous that we took some shots before filming the review, and it's so noticeable. But I decided to do a horror movie in January, and it is The Bye Bye Man. I originally gave the movie a D+ because I said that it's so bad that it's fun to watch, so I'll give it a D+. But no, it gets an F. That movie gets an F. There's no way it doesn't get an F. It's just so bad. It doesn't matter how much fun you have watching it. It's simply a bad movie. This next video is jumping quite significantly into the future after Bye Bye Man, and it is the La La Land review. And it's also cringy, but in a different kind of way, because while the Bye Bye Man review was cringy just because of how bad the video looked, because I was so inexperienced, this one I had been reviewing for a little bit, so I knew how to edit. I knew how to talk to the camera at this point, but for some reason, the way that I thought I should talk is super slow. Like, I was giving all of my thoughts like this. Like, I needed to dwell on everything that came out of my mouth for some reason. Welcome back, people of everywhere. We are now ending Musical March with the movie that I've been promising since the beginning of Musical March, La La Land. I don't know why I was talking like that. Like, in normal speech, I do sometimes speak slowly, but that's just because I am trying to think of what I want to say next. But in a review, I shouldn't be talking that slow. I should have already thought about all of this beforehand. I do want to make a point that some of the stuff I say in the review no longer stands with how I currently feel about the movie. Like, in the original review, I was talking about how great the cinematography is. And if you want to explain to somebody what good cinematography is, then just show them this movie. If anyone ever asks what good cinematography looks like, just show them any scene in this movie. The cinematography's fine. Like, the only time the cinematography is, like, really good is, like, during that Waste of a Lovely Night, or whatever the song is actually called, with the big dance number. I even show a clip of that in the review back before I even knew how to get clips. I literally just filmed my TV and it looked terrible. But no, the cinematography is just okay. And I also talk about how, like, you know, some people are talking about how these characters are super flat and cardboard cutout, but I feel like it really just lets you put yourself in the shoes of these characters. No, they are very flat and cardboard cutout. These are rather boring characters. The only great thing about La La Land, now that I look back on it, is the musical numbers. Those are the only legitimately exceedingly good parts. Everything other than that is just okay. So the original grade that I gave La La Land was an A, but now I'm dropping it down to a C+. Jumping forward again, we're going to talk about my weird review of Halloween 2018. This was in the middle of that, like, Halloween series that I was doing that I've talked about before. We don't need to get into that again. But just talking about the review portion of the video, it's way too dark. I didn't even try to, like, put any other sort of light in the car except for the dome light that was above my head, and it just looks awful. And I brought this up when I was talking about the series as a whole, but I don't understand why the camera moves. Like, it was stuck to one of those things that you stick it to the windshield of your car and then you, like, put your phone in it and it, like, holds it there. It was in one of those, so it was stationary. I don't understand why the camera is, like, tracking my head movements. I've never seen it done to this degree ever again. I don't know if it had something to do with how dark it was or what, but it's kind of nauseating to watch. But into the actual review and how I now feel about the movie, I haven't watched it since doing this review. I talk about how great the granddaughter character is, but she's really not. Like, she's just kind of there because I remember nothing about her. I compare her, I say that she's like the next Laurie Strode, and she's not. I don't even remember her name. Everything else I said, I still pretty much agree with it. I think the only reason I gave it as high of a grade as I did is because I felt like I shouldn't give a Halloween movie, aside from the Rob Zombie reboots, like a low grade. But, like, I gave it an A-. But now I'm going to drop it down to a B-. Next is the Doctor Who Season 11 review, and I don't know what I was thinking. Jodie Whittaker was a fine Doctor, but she wasn't really memorable, at least from that season. I haven't seen the season following it because I don't have regular television. From that season, I was like, oh, she's quirky. Cool. The season as a whole was just honestly kind of boring. Like, I only remember a few of the actual episodes. Like, there was the Rosa Parks one, giant spiders with, like, not Donald Trump, and then there was one where they were, like, in a amazing race in space type of deal. And I remember that, like, one of the companions, like, family members dies in the first episode. That's all I remember from the whole season. And if a season of Doctor Who only leaves me with those impressions, then it wasn't a very good season of Doctor Who, especially compared to every other season of Doctor Who of the new generation anyway. I gave the original score of Binge It, but I even say in the video that the only reason I gave it the score of Binge It is because I did binge it. But I literally only binged it so that I could do the review. I didn't binge it because I wanted to. So I shouldn't have given it grade. So instead, I'm dropping it down to a skim it, because it really was a pretty boring and forgettable season. And last but not least, real easy one, Avengers Endgame. I didn't even really review it. I just kind of gushed about how much I liked it. I didn't get into an actual review. And I'm not going to do that here because that's not what this video was about. I'm just going to say that it gets an A. At some point in the future, I'm probably going to like do either a series of videos or one big long video where I'm reviewing all of the MCU. Not anytime soon, because that is a task that I just cannot do right now. But at some point, I do want to do something like that. In that same token, the reason that none of the Friday the 13th reviews are in this video is because I do want to re-review all of them.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Probably not anytime soon, because I do want to give it like the full, to be fair, commentary style review.
No!
And that will take a lot of time. So at some point, I am going to re-review the Friday the 13th series, because that was some of my earliest reviews, and I hate the way they look, I hate the way they sound, and I hate the grades I gave them. So I will be doing that at some point, but not right now. I still need a break from that series. It's been a while since I did it, but it still haunts me. Okay guys, well, thank you so much for watching this. I realize this isn't normally the type of video that I do, but I do have a review of a horror film that I want to do, but I'm waiting for somebody who's going to be doing it with me to be free so that they can join me in the video. So be sure to keep your eye out for that review, and to do that, the links to all of my social media are down in the description. But before you go there, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.